to Something for the Turbo, the new weekly podcast brought to you by Unfound, the global platform for the travel-loving cyclist. Welcome to the show. Thank you all so much for listening. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe to the podcast and make sure you're spreading the word as well. Tell all your cycling friends, club mates, teammates, your Sunday roll, coffee companions. Post it on social media. Scream it from the rooftops. We really appreciate all your help in spreading the word. Today's episode is supported by Alp Cycles for all your alpine cycling experiences. And I'm joined by Catalina Anais Soto Campos, who is a Chilean cyclist and a rising superstar in the women's sport. We discuss her journey from racing track in Santiago, Chile, to racing for the UCI's World Cycling Centre, which is an initiative to support up-and-coming talent from smaller federations. Her journey is a fascinating one. She has some truly brilliant stories. She's had some fantastic results at junior level, and in her first year riding under 23 and elite, she's also had an incredible result at Omloop earlier this year. So we discuss her journey to today. She's still only 19 years old, so she's got big ambitions, huge talent, and we very much look forward to supporting her over the coming years. But without further ado, please let me introduce you to Catalina. Good morning, Catalina. How are you?
Good morning. Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us. Thank you very much for giving the time. I understand you're down in Melbourne at the moment, are you?
Yeah, I am. I live here with my family since 5 years ago. So here I am.
Thank you very much for taking the time to join us. You've got a fascinating story thus far in your career already, although it's only just sort of really getting going. But I was really keen to get an understanding as to how you got into cycling, how you ended up in Switzerland and Melbourne. And yeah, how did things start for you in Chile?
Well,
Tell us about your background.
Yeah, my family is not very active as in sports, so I don't come from a cycling family. I do have an uncle that loves basketball, and my mom used the bike just to move around, so just as transport, really. And we started doing these like bunch local rides, which will be at night. They weren't really anything serious. They were just, ride around the city. The roads were closed, and you could just enjoy riding your bike. So that's how it started, and then I got more into the fixie riding, if that makes sense.
This was in Santiago, was it?
This is in Santiago. Yeah. So I got into the fixie bike, and we met a group of people that rode on the velodrome. We started going there. That's how it started. I started training more, and then I decided to race nationals as an under 13. I won it, so I just, wanted to keep enjoying the bike. I thought I was pretty good at it. And I was having fun too. So I didn't see why not, just to keep going.
Yeah, excellent. And you've had a supreme success at sort of age group nationally, didn't you? You've won, I think, is it 13 national titles? Is that correct?
Yeah, I've won 13 national titles, but most of them are just junior. So I don't have an elite title, which is something that I really want to get now.
That's on the to-do list.
Yeah, it's in the to-do list. But so I started riding more in Chile and doing more competition. I got into the road probably 2 years later after I started track cycling. So if I give you probably 2014, I started doing road.
Okay.
And
a couple of years.
Yeah, a couple of years
quickly,
later.
So you start. Is there a big track racing scene in Chile? Is it growing quickly? Are there a lot of people doing it, or is it still quite a small sport?
No, it's still a small sport. I'm not I wasn't very aware of how big it was maybe before, but from memory and what I've seen, it's always been a small sport. So yeah, but there was a velodrome. The only velodrome in Chile was in the city where I lived in Santiago. So, it was massive that I could go in it. And then they built a indoor velodrome too. So, things get pretty exciting, and yeah. So I just kept doing it.
Oh, fantastic. And the indoor velodrome, that's been built now? That's finished?
Yeah, it's been finished. They've held Pan American Championships, South American Championships, and games. So, yeah, it's I think it's probably 4 years old now, the track, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I took segue there. So obviously you said you then started riding on the road after a couple of years. Obviously Chile's a spectacularly beautiful country, but talk us through the sort of the cycling there is an offer in Chile and some of the road cycling that you were doing.
Yeah, so there's Not much competition really for girls that are 14 years old, so 13, 14. And so there was, I did this race, which was the most important race for me. It was like schools championship. So all schools will compete to represent their region, and then or I guess like state in Chile. And then you race like a super big event as a team. And that's how I thought, oh, I actually really like road. But I wasn't very committed to it because I was 14. So like I will
Yeah.
sometimes miss training or like the official training and, go out with my friends and things like that. But when we got to competition, they gave us the opportunity to, eat food all together as a team, boys and girls. And we stayed in a hotel for like a week, and we did a team time trial, a criterium, and a road race. So it was like my first experience on the road, and I was really fascinated by it. I think that
Yeah, yeah,
also
yeah.
like light a spark on road cycling. Like, wow, this is really fun. And then my coach at the time, he will say, track and road actually they complement each other really well. So you don't have to choose. And I thought, oh, sweet, then I'll do both.
Excellent. You had success on the road as well. And very quickly, I mean, because how did the World Cycling Centre with the UCI, how did that come about?
Well, I moved to Australia, and the racing scene here for girls between 18 and 16, it's actually big and there's a lot of competition. So when I got
Okay.
here, I did like, a little bit of strength, I guess, but I did really well in junior tours in the state. So I remember my first race, in Chile, going to live overseas is something crazy. Like it's such a massive opportunity, and well, I didn't look at it like that at the
Yeah.
time.
Sorry, I didn't realise you went to Australia first. So how old were you when you went to Melbourne, and how come that move came about?
So we came to Australia because both my parents, well, my stepdad and my mom, they got on a scholarship to study in Melbourne Uni.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Well, at the time I didn't really want to come because I had all my friends, school, and I was just getting to cycling as like meeting more people and making my own space. And yeah, you could say
Yeah.
like I was 14
Yeah. Oh,
turning
wow.
15.
Okay. So yeah, horrific time to move a
Yeah,
huge way around the world when you
yeah.
feel settled.
And I didn't
Quite
speak
young
any
as well.
English at all, like no English. I remember I was failing my English class back in Chile, so everything was just a shock. It was
Yeah.
crazy for me. But my parents were actually very comprehensive, so they found a cycling club here, which is the Brunswick Cycling Club, and I'm still part of it. And
Yeah.
they made
Cool.
sure I got to the track, I did some training, we lived in a place where I could ride my bike safely. So it was actually, they tried to make it as nice as possible, even though I hated it. I think I struggled probably for months. I was like, oh, I don't want to be here. I don't speak the language. Like going to the track down at Brunswick, we will have Alf, which was an old coach, and I did not get a word of what he said because he had first Australian accent, and then he was also very old. So I did not understand anything of what he said. What were the efforts we had? So I just looked at people, what they were doing, and then I just looked at them, and yeah, just
Trying to figure it out.
yeah, that was it. But I had really good people by my side at the time too. So at Brunswick, people will talk slowly to me, and back at my school, my teachers would help me improve on my English. So yeah, since then, like when I started learning, I can't stop talking.
Yeah, wow, what a transition. That must have made it hard. And did you feel during that time where it must have been quite scary and you must have had some pretty frustrating days sort of arriving in Melbourne. Did you find that getting out on your bike was a nice release or a nice escape from, having to learn English from scratch and settle into a new country?
Yeah, well, I felt like riding the bike was the most familiar thing that I could do back here. So, alone with no friends and with such a time difference, I couldn't stay awake until late or wake up super early to talk to my Chilean friends. So, riding the bike was
Yeah.
just like a nice way to kind of go back home in a way.
Yes, I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
coming to Australia actually helped me figure out how much I like cycling, and because there was more competition in the for girls between the age of 14 and 16, and I did my
Okay.
first tour, like junior tour here in Victoria, and the club gave me a brand new kit to wear it, and then I did really well. So I think I got second overall, which, as a 14-year-old, you think you're winning the Tour de France or something. So I'm like, oh yes, I'm so good at this. I'm gonna keep training. And yeah, so I going back here gave me, I guess, not it didn't show me, you're meant to do cycling, but I just thought it's something so familiar to me, and there's so much competition here that, you just stick to it and try to win races, get spend your time doing this sport that you like.
Yeah, and that's interesting you say that. I mean, do you think having that depth of competition in Australia is one of the reasons they have or they produce such phenomenal athletes? Had you never moved to Melbourne, do you think you would have had the opportunities that you've had since you got to Australia?
Yeah, moving to Melbourne was life changing, because I think if I would have stayed in Chile, I would probably keep riding, but I would have never focused. So I probably would have been lost between 14 and 16, doing just small races, focusing on school, and I wouldn't think I would be riding really. So Melbourne,
No,
coming
exactly.
to
You would have just
Australia,
been,
yeah, shaped the way I saw cycling in my life, in a way.
yeah. It's such a key development age for an athlete as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was, yeah, like at the time I hated it, but now I look back and I'm just like, there's no way I could pay back both my stepdad and my mom for bringing me here.
And so the last couple of years you've been with the World Cycling Centre in Switzerland, is that correct? How
Yeah.
did that come about?
Yeah, so I did the South American Games, which was the first time I represented Chile at a international stage, I guess. And
Yeah.
it's a pretty funny story. So it was like the first time I kind of focused to train for the ultimate goal, which was, track and road in the youth South American Games in Chile, in my hometown, so Santiago. So all my friends will see me. I was gonna represent my country
Oh,
for the
wow.
first time. It was a big deal for me at the time. I mean, it still is. Like if that happened today, I would be like, oh my god, yes, I've got to train. So I talked to Cam, which was a guy. He's a coach from the Brunswick Cycling Club. I
Okay.
talked to my mom and I was like, I'm full. I wanna do this. I wanna get back and be the best and train hard and blah blah blah. Yeah, so I put in the hard work, and it wasn't too long. And you're also a junior, so you're living your teenage years in school and parties, but also you want to really focus on the ultimate goal, which was the games. And
Yeah.
when the time comes, I go to Chile to represent, to race, and I have a crash on the second day I'm in it. I'm back in Chile, and I break my collarbone. So
No.
2 weeks before the event. So I was devastated.
No.
Yeah, I was devastated. I was 16, and
Oh,
for you, it's like the end of the world. Like I was just lying in bed, and my auntie, she was like, just don't do anything. But all I wanted to do was, get a set of rollers, trying to reach the handlebars, and did like 15 to 20 minutes per day, because I thought, nah, I'm gonna race. Like, there's no ways I did all that for nothing, like just to lie here in bed. I remember I had a chat to my uncle, who is a basketball coach living in Germany now. And he told me, like, take it easy. Like, if you really want to do it, you'll do it, but take it easy. Like, don't push too much, and don't fight with my family, because I was really angry. I don't know why with them, but they were actually helping me a lot. So I guess I didn't know how to
oh,
really
can I?
handle the situation.
So just quickly to interject, so you got to Chile and then you broke the collarbone. How long before the games was that?
2 weeks.
2 weeks before. Oh no, that's just heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Absolutely
but
heartbreaking.
I was really fortunate to have an awesome auntie, I guess an awesome family, and they asked for time off work. We went to every hospital and clinic in Santiago. Actually, everyone said, "Nah, you can't have surgery. There's no ways." And you hear this every single day, and I started losing hope, but I kept riding in the roller. So this is probably a week in, and then we actually found this doctor.
You're riding on rollers with a broken collarbone.
Yeah, so I was gonna race. In my mind, I was gonna race.
Okay, and the roller's not the turbo.
Oh yeah, it's like the one where you put the wheel on. No, you take the back wheel off and you just put the frame.
You're on the rollers.
No,
I
no.
thought you were on the broken collarbone. I thought that really would have been mad. I mean, chances of me getting a broken collarbone would be
You
from
would have
using the
crashed
rollers.
again. Yeah. No, it was the one. The turbo. Sorry.
We're going to set that because that seems incredibly crazy. But yeah, fair enough. Okay, so you're just riding every day, broken collarbone.
Yeah, and then a week before, we found this surgeon in a very expensive clinic in Chile. But he asked me what happened to me, and I said I broke my collarbone, and I came to race the South American Games, and everyone is just saying I'm not gonna be able to race. I just need to wait 3 weeks or 4 weeks until my collarbone is recovered. And he actually told me, if you're gonna race the South American Games, what are you doing with the cast? And I'm like, I don't know, like they told me to wear it. And then he's like, nah, you have surgery tomorrow. We do a surgery to you, put a plate on your shoulder, and you'll be fine. You'll be on the track in 2 days. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. Like with my auntie and my grandma, which the two of them came with me to every single clinic and hospital. We were all crying because we were like, oh my God, yes, you're going to be able to race and represent Chile. So we called the national coach and he's like, cool, just let me know. And the whole thing started. So I had surgery. Then, how games have like a ceremony at the start. So there's like a big stage, people singing. I was able to go there after my surgery. And,
No way.
And like my teammates took really good care of me, like, trying to push people away because it's pretty crowded. So no one touched me. And then the next day I was like, all right, I'm going to get on the track. I have to go on the track now. And the coach told me to take it really easy. So I was going to race the Omnium and the individual pursuit on the track, and then the road race on the road later in the week. And Chile had like a physio for the team, like Team Chile had a physio, and they thought I was crazy. And just everyone took so much care of me. So I didn't do much. I just rode the bike, and then I didn't change chain rings or like put my numbers on or I didn't fix the bike or I didn't do anything extra. And my coach told me, we don't have to push hard now. Like whatever work you did back in Australia, it's what you have now. So let's just stay with that. And well, I was just super excited. I was going to represent Chile. But then when the race came, I actually did really well. So I didn't expect to be top 5. I just thought, I'm just going to give a show. I'm at home. I'll just do what I can with what I have. Like, that's it. But I ended up doing really well. So I took 2 gold medals and then a 3rd place in the road race. And it was just crazy. And that's
this is unbelievable. Just had surgery just a matter of days before.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing. So someone from Argentina knew a Spanish coach who was a coach at the center, and they were having a training camp in Argentina in November. So this was in August, and there was a training camp for like detecting talent in South America to go to Switzerland, to the World Cycling Centre. And because I had great success, or I did get 2 gold medals, they told me you should go, and then from that it started. So I went to the training camp in November, with the help of everyone back here in Australia, because it is really expensive to, travel back and forth to Australia and South America. So we got a lot of help from my team, my mom, and my family was really supportive, which, like a 16-year-old doing all this weird stuff. But, they were the whole time with me. And then in Argentina, we had, it was 2 weeks. And it was, again, awesome. I loved it. So it was road and track. There was people from all South America, even Central American, and people from the Caribbean. And I had so much fun. We had some power testing that I remember they told me, you have to go really, really hard. And I actually passed out because they told me there's no limit. Just push. And then whatever number you get, it's your number. And I thought, all right. And I probably pushed too much. We did some track. We did some track testing. And, well, for me, what I remember, it was just, after training, having dinner with everyone there, people from Argentina, from Bolivia, Venezuela, Paraguay, all these different cultures. I just thought, oh my God, this is just amazing. This is like a dream. And I just had all these beautiful opportunities given to me that year and the way I could just ride my bike, it was pretty awesome. So then after all this crazy stuff happened, I came back to Australia and I just did the local racing, living the dream. And on January, if I'm not wrong, we get the invitational letter to go to the World Cycling Centre as a junior. And I was just over the moon.
Amazing. So for those people listening that don't know what the World Cycling Centre is, can you give people a quick overview in terms of what it is and how it works?
It's, how could I say? It's like, I guess it's like a training centre where there's all types of cycling are involved. So BMX, mountain bike, road, track, cyclocross is now, and flat BMX, I think it's called too. And they develop riders from nations that don't have such a strong cycling system, I guess, or federations.
Yeah, the infrastructure's not there. Yeah.
So the World Cycling Centre has a velodrome in Aigle, has beautiful roads because it's based in Switzerland, has a BMX track, has a gym, has, we can use their bikes and there's mechanics, and you are getting coached by professional coaches. So it's a huge opportunity to actually get invited. I knew there was a guy from Chile that got invited to a few years ago, and he did really well at Tour de l'Avenir. So I knew that if I was getting invited, it was because they saw something on me and I was not gonna waste the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've seen so far that you're pretty deserved, so I'm sure you weren't going to waste the opportunity. But you also, they take you to races, right? You race under the World Cycling Centre almost as a team. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, this year is actually my first year with them as an under 23/elite rider. My past 2 years, I did them as a junior. So, but we did race as a team. So the junior development team, they took us to Belgium, to France, and we did some races with the elite girls at the time too. But I just loved being there, and I did have some success as a junior. So I think in my first tour, which was in Belgium, I think it's called the International Youth Belgium Tour, if I'm not wrong.
Yes,
we went. And our coach Alejandro took us there, and it's amazing because you have people working. I guess it sounds weird, but people kind of work for you, so they make sure the bike is alright. All you gotta do is remember the roads, go full gas, and smash it, because it's junior racing, so the distances aren't very, very long, if that makes sense. So as a junior, I think I had a lot of success in Europe, being from Chile. But in my first tour, the Belgium Youth Tour, Belgian International, I forgot the name. I did podium overall. So my coach was like,
amazing.
Oh, this is really cool. And I was over the moon too, because it was my first race in Europe, and I won a stage, and then I got into the podium, and I was just so happy. And again, I was in Belgium, and I'd never saw myself as a 17-year-old in racing bikes in Belgium, and I thought, oh my god,
Yeah.
this is just amazing. I was just so happy.
Yeah. And do you think having made that move from Chile to Melbourne made the transition to going to spend sort of months on end in Europe a little bit easier? You know, you've made a big life change once, the second time's a little bit easier.
Oh yeah, I think it has a huge impact on how, I deal with missing home when I'm in Europe. So I'm totally alone when I'm in Europe. So no family, no friends. I mean, that I know from before. So, but
Yeah,
that I was there. I was in that position just a few years ago, back in Chile. I mean, back when I moved to Australia. So it's not a struggle for me.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, in terms of trying to think where we are, we'll come on to this year because obviously, with everything that's going on, it's been a bit of a disturbed year. But so last year, you had another successful year as a junior, didn't you? Including in lighting up the worlds as well in Harrogate. You enjoyed that race?
Oh yeah, I did. I have really funny memories of it because you never. I mean, the whole plan was you gotta be at the front. So Chile, because it's ranked last in the like junior ranks, like the national junior ranks.
Yeah,
I was last in the start at the start line, and then in the I forget the name when this you start, but the neutral zone, you have like probably 150 girls, and I'm
yeah,
last, and I gotta make it to the front. In I think it was actually a long time, but it's just hectic. Like the girls in junior racing, they do not care what happens; they just go. And I did not want to crash,
yeah,
so I just thought, all right. The plan was you start at the back, but you finish at the front. So that was the whole plan, and then fighting positions the whole time. So I am proud of myself from that race that I stick to the front. But when we got in the breakaway, I had no idea what to do. I was like, oh my god, I never actually thought I was gonna be in a break. So
yeah.
I it kind of collapsed a little bit, and that's why if you see in the
Yeah,
video, I don't do any work at the start because I'm like, nah, they're gonna catch us. Like this breakaway is not gonna last. And then
yeah,
I came to senses. I was like, I'm already here. I better, if I'm gonna be in a breakaway, I must commit to it 100%. I'm wasting energy just being on this wheel, so I might as well, give 100%,
give it a go.
110% because it's
Yeah,
the World Championships. And
exactly. And you did.
I knew that there was a steep hill before the end, and I knew this is where I could
Yeah,
attack because I kind of like climbing, even though if I'm not the best at it. I love short, steep climbs. So I thought, all right, I'll
yeah,
just
yeah.
push it here. But then, yeah, I got caught. But yeah, it was a good race.
Oh, great. Yeah, it was entertaining to watch. And what other good results did you have last year?
Oh, I did some races in France. I raced nationals in my country, and I raced the Fixie Crit in Australia, which I won. So I guess I won 3 national titles last year. Oh no, this year.
Amazing. Wow.
And
This year,
then
I'm getting
no,
confused.
sorry, I'm getting
So
confused too. Last
last year.
year.
Last year. And this year, so this year you then graduated to under 23, you've been racing, right? And how did the year start for you?
This year.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually a very relaxed start of the year. I did do some World Cups later in the season last year with
Okay.
the World Cycling Centre. So the coach he told me, look, have some time off because you've been full on the whole year, and I think it'll be nice if you just enjoy your family, Christmas, New Year's. And I thought, all right, I'll do it, like easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Christmas.
it wasn't so
Beautiful.
easy though, because it's summer. You come back to your country, and all your friends are cycling related, and then you go back to Chile. I went to Chile, back to Chile with my family for Christmas and New Year, and
Yeah.
again, all my friends are cycling related. So I thought, oh my god, like I just want to ride my bike. I tried to be really good, but they say 3 weeks off, and I took 2, and I started getting into riding in the 3rd week, but not much. And then, yeah, I was getting really excited because I was going to be under 23 elite. And I knew at some point in the season I was going to race with, Annemiek van Vleuten, Brody May, which are like superstars that I've admired in the past 2 years. So I just thought, all right, I just got to train really hard. And being back in Chile was actually really fun to start training because I was with all my friends. Chile is such a beautiful country. So every time I was on
now,
the
Catalina,
bike.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the cycling in Chile. From Santiago, you can go straight out onto quiet roads. What's it like? I know there's beautiful mountains there. How far away are them? Tell us a little bit about the cycling that's on offer in Chile.
Yeah, well, it's at least in Santiago. I'm gonna talk for Santiago. You have the Andes next to you, which is a mountain range that you can climb up to 3,000 meters if you want. You have in the south, you can actually go into like a little valley, which is up and down the whole time with some punchy hills, and you can do endless kilometers. Like the paved road finishes, but then there's gravel, and you can just keep going. You can do a lot of Ks, and then in the actual city, there's like a little climb. I'm pretty sure it's 5Ks, and yeah, a lot of people commute a lot on their bikes. A lot of people go up this climb in the middle of the city. But in the past years, there's been a lot of teams, like amateur teams developing. So it's actually, I feel like it has grown a lot in the fixie kind of side, which is actually nice. There's a lot of people that from fixie, they go to the road and they're really strong because on the fixie, you never stop pedaling. So
yeah, of course.
Like going into the road, you're just super strong. And so there's a lot of group bunch rides. There's a lot of more women too that they're not my age, they're a bit older, but still like being in a bunch and knowing that there's more women, you're not the only one. It's actually a kind of not a relief, but you just like you feel like you actually not deserve, but you feel in the right place. Sometimes when there's too many boys, you're like, oh, am I supposed to be here? But yeah, so this change was actually really nice to see and to be part of too.
Yeah, so I cut you off there. So you got riding again with your friends out there over the Christmas. You managed 2 weeks off the bike, and then how did this year start?
Yeah, so then I went to Europe in February, which is it was summer down here in Chile and Australia, and then I have to go to Europe, which is freezing cold. But the first day we got there, the team took us to the snow. So the World Cycling Centre, they took us to the snow. And again, it's something that I feel like cycling gives you. Seeing, there was a few people that I knew from the years before, but then I met all my teammates. And, meeting new people and having, going to the snow for the first time, the first day you're all together, it's actually pretty nice, a nice way to know each other. And I was a bit scared of being, like, for the first time ever, being part of a team, if it makes sense. Like before, I was at the center and there were other juniors, but it wasn't in a paper. Like it didn't say women's continental team. And now I was actually really nervous. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to ride with these girls. We're going to race with tactics and, suffering in races the whole year. Like, I don't know. It's something you got to like know where to put yourself, I guess, when you're part of a team. I didn't want to think it too much either, but
it changes the dynamic, doesn't it? Because obviously you've got to prepare yourself as an individual, as an athlete, but then the team dynamic changes things a little bit.
Yeah. And I thought I was prepared for it, but obviously you're not. Like, you're never prepared for these things. Like, you imagine all these different scenarios that can happen. But when I got there, it was actually really, really nice. Being with all the girls, I was like, oh, I actually feel like I'm supposed to be here. Like, this is the place to be right now at this point.
Amazing.
And at least personally, that was kind of a relief because I was really nervous and I made good friends with all of them, really. And then we did a training camp in Portugal and we got to know each other even more. And then we got off to racing, which was super exciting. I was so nervous. So we did Umloop, the opening weekend, I think they call it. So
Yeah.
I'm terrible with names. I did 2 Umloops and Les Amin. You probably know them
And
more
how were
than I
they?
do. They
Yeah,
were
of course. Yeah. How did you
crazy.
find it? Yeah.
Oh, they were crazy. So I knew I wanted to prepare for it. So a week before the race, I watched a lot of videos and then looked at all the climbs or all the cobble sections on Strava. Once I did that,
Yeah.
I just did not worry about what the race was going to be like for a week, for like the week on preparation to it. But on our trip to Belgium, it was snowing, it was raining, it was windy, the van was moving, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. This is just I'm gonna freeze in here. What am I doing? And it was like that. I actually froze my ass off every day, but I loved it. The cobbles, I think I did race in cobbles before, but this time actually riding them so fast. I remember for the first race, it was raining, it was super windy, and it was just so cold, at least for me.
Yeah.
I just said, all I thought was, all right, at the end of today, I'm going to be at the hotel having something warm. So I might as well just send it and do whatever I can. And
Yeah.
apparently everyone said it was an awesome result. So I got 38. Annemiek won
Yeah.
by
Amazing.
2 minutes 30 in front of me.
Yeah.
Damn, Annemiek, she's so strong. And
That's incredible effort because how old are you? You're still 19, right?
yeah, I was 19.
You're 19?
Yeah.
Wow. That's an amazing effort. And did you do Brussels, Cairn, Brussels the same weekend? You did both races, did you?
Yeah, I did. And I had a
Yeah.
crash in that one. And I crashed once and then I had 2 mechanicals. So I got to the circuit and then I called it off. But then I saw one of my teammates, a good friend of mine, Tenio, she got second in the bunch. Oh no, she got fourth in the bunch sprint. But I just thought, oh my God, she's at the front. She's so strong. It got me really motivated for the last one, which was Les Amin, if I'm not wrong.
And how did you get on with that?
Again, I got beaten by 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I forget her name, but she was a world champion before. Oh my God, I'm terrible with names. I'm so sorry. But
That's okay.
with my teammate MG, I call her MG, Meg, from Canada, we were actually feeling really strong that day and we were moving in the bunch really well, which, as a first year under 23 elite, it's like, sending a boy that raced juniors last year going to race against Peter Sagan the next year. So that's what, in perspective, that's what it's like. So you never know, like.
But the fact that you could run in the bunch, right? The fact that you feel that you're in year one, sort of, the first few races, you're feeling comfortable, you're moving around the peloton well, clearly starting to feel like you belong there, right? Quite right.
Yeah. Well, in a way, I think I'm pretty harsh a little bit sometimes, and I think, all right, I can move in the peloton. I can suffer through and and try my best to finish the races, but I'm getting beaten by 2.5 minutes. What do I have to do to, do I really deserve to be here if I'm getting beaten twice by 2.5 minutes? That's what I thought. And that's what I keep thinking. But on the other note, like taking that huge step and, dealing with the distances, the size of the bunch, and racing with these women that have so much experience and actually being with them in the same bunch, it kind of gives you a relief, like, oh my God, I can do this. Like, I can do it. All right, cool. You kind of achieve a little goal.
Exactly. And then obviously it's all new for you. So that 2.5 minutes you soon put into the equation, racecraft, more experience, just feeling more comfortable there. And that time soon chips away, and I'm sure you'll be right up there before you know it.
Oh,
that's the plan anyway, right?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of work to do, but just I got the feeling for 3 races until everything got cancelled, and I didn't feel like I was in the wrong place. I didn't feel like I was, I guess, bad at riding bikes at that level. So that kept me motivated this whole time.
Super cool. So you say that, so obviously you had those 3 races, you were clearly in Europe. And I mean, for me, myself, for everyone, I think sort of that beginning of March, everyone was like, okay, this is becoming a thing now. What was this? When did you know that things were going to, races were going to start to be cancelled? And because actually, when was Paris-Nice? That was March as well. When did you realise it? Did you make a beeline to get back to Melbourne, or how did things pan out for you?
It was actually, everything happened so fast. That's what I feel. So I was in Switzerland. We got back from all these Belgium races. And well, the center, all the coaches, everyone was just making sure that we were safe. So we did not get sick. We did talk how we felt every single day. So every single day, we will send a text saying we feel this out of 10, and if you feel bad, you stay in your room. They send a doctor. It worked like that. So when I saw all this process in place, I thought, all right, like I did kind of know that I was gonna get sent back home, but I didn't. I just needed someone to really, really tell me, like, you're going home. And then out of nowhere, my teammate from Canada, she told me I have to go on, and this was Monday, and she comes and she tells me I have to go home. And then everyone was saying I have to go home. My country is calling me. I have to go home before they close the borders. And I was like, what? And
Yeah.
And then you see all the races canceled. We were gonna do some local races in France and Switzerland, and even those were getting canceled. So that's when I started getting the feeling, okay, when are you guys? When is it gonna happen? When am I supposed to pack? But it took a long time, I guess. The center did take the right decision to send us home, and I'm so grateful they did, because you don't want to be stuck in Europe alone.
No.
Yeah, and you don't want to make Switzerland somewhere where you don't want to be there, if it makes sense. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And one day, I think it was a Saturday morning, the coach came and they were just he just said, this is for the safety of everyone. Thank you so much for trusting us and for being here. You will be back for sure. Like that's something they say too. You will be back, but what matters now is your health. So they bought my tickets for Sunday, which it was a Saturday morning. So they bought my tickets for
next day,
for Sunday. Yeah, I think, and the flight was a day, if I'm not, a day and a half, and it was just the most stressful weekend of my life. And I didn't bring anything. I mean, like personal stuff. I just brought kit, my bike, and a few pants and underwear and shoes back home. I left everything there, and I came back. It was the craziest trip ever. Like, I didn't want to touch anything. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to do anything. And I got really emotional too. So I was crying because I just thought, oh my God, like, this is the end, things like that. But once I got home and I saw my mom, I saw my little sister, my cousins here too, I knew it was the right decision. So yeah, when I got back, I texted the secretary from the center, and I just thanked her for, buying the ticket so soon and sending me back, because it was the right decision.
Well, 3 months down the line, it was definitely the right decision. How have you been coping? How have you been continuing to train? Is there any have you got any idea when things might open up again? What's your current state of play?
Well, coming back to Australia, everything here seemed to be, or I kind of felt like things were a little under control in a way. There was there was a lockdown. I stayed home for 2 weeks. I did catch up when I finished my lockdown. I catch up with a few friends. The whole talk is about the races being cancelled and training for what and things like that. So I think that kind of like blew me off in a way. And I was riding outside, but I felt like I was wasting time. I thought, oh, why am I riding? And then in Chile, things started getting really, really bad. So I started taking the corona thing more personally, more personal. So every death, every people affected by it kind of affected me in a way that I didn't know. Like, unconsciously, it was affecting me really bad, but I did not want to tell that to myself. But luckily, I have a great bunch of people around me. So I make some calls and I told them, look, I feel like not riding. And they told me, look, you're not going to lose anything if you take a day off or a week off. Just grab your bike and just ride because you want to, because you like it. So that changed my perspective. And then again, when I started feeling like that, I was like, I'm 19. If I lose this year, if I lose this year in cycling, it's okay, because you love the sport and you're gonna be back doing it. Doesn't matter what. Just make sure everyone in the world, not just my family or friends, are fine. Just make sure everyone in the world is okay, and will be okay, and try to do your best to help in the things that you can, but then the things that you can control or you can impact in a way, just don't let them go, but just be aware that that's all you can do. Just be aware that they exist.
Yeah, and some things are out of your control, right? You can't control everything, which is hard when unprecedented times like this happen. So that's where you're at the moment. Are there any noises around races in the autumn, September, October, or are you just sort of saying, okay, let's go again next year?
Well, I did hear that the races are, racing is back in Europe. So there's a UCI women's calendar, and then there's a lot of races in Spain and Belgium and Italy that are going to happen. That are going to take place in late July at the start of August. And my team does want me to go back to Europe. So I'm doing the paperwork with the help of my mom and everyone at the center to get back this year. So
fantastic.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm pretty excited already. I'm training, and I have the help of Cam, which is the coach from Brunswick. And when I told him, hey, I might get back for racing, we're like, oh, okay, let's go, let's do it, let's do these efforts, let's go to the gym, let's ride our bike. So yeah, now we're pretty full on.
That's brilliant. Well, big shout out to Cam. He sounds like he's been super helpful.
Oh yeah.
And so beyond this year, I mean, the sky's the limit. What are your ambitions in the sport? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? And actually, given the fact that you've been so successful on the track and on the road, where do you feel your strengths are as a rider, and where do you see yourself ultimately being successful?
To be honest, at the time, I think I might not be, a climber that can climb, 20Ks, but I can still do steep, short climbs and things like that. Then I can do flats. I don't know. I haven't really found the one place, and maybe I don't have it. Maybe I just have to ride my bike everywhere. Just bring it on. I'll just take it how it comes. But yeah, for the future, I want to be a professional cyclist. So make a living out of cycling. And I want to represent my country at the Olympics, but not only represent it, just, give a proper race at the Olympic Games and the World Championships, and just become that Chilean tick. And then hopefully that will help girls, maybe not from Chile, but from South America or from any place that they feel like their country is too small to be part of the big stage, to take a chance and, step up.
I think that having role models is such an important thing for the growth of the sport within the junior ranks, right?
Yeah, I have great role models, and they're so close to me as well that, again, I'm so lucky and fortunate to actually have them around me. So I hope one day I become one and be able to, have an image of myself where I can actually motivate people to get on the bike. And if not, it doesn't have to be international. It doesn't have to be world tour. As long as you want to ride your bike, especially if you're part of a small country such as like Chile, don't just make sure people make people feel like they're safe. Like sport is, especially cycling, is something that they can do and they can be part of in the world stage. So yeah, and it's just a great pastime for anyone. So hopefully and you seem to enjoy it so much as well. The videos I've seen of you, and obviously we met briefly in Harrogate, you always seem to have a smile on your face and just love to be doing what you're doing. So that's pretty inspiring as well. Yeah, well, I do love the sport. I love it. It just, I think at this short age, it has given me so much, from friendships to, crying and all these emotions and opportunities and traveling around the world and meeting all these people.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, it's something that I don't want to give up now. And I hope I don't want to give up at any point. It doesn't matter how hard it gets. I just, want to enjoy it and see where it takes me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we very much look forward to following your progress. I mean, I think from the conversation we've had today, if we look at sort of growing the sport or growing the sport for everyone, really, I think family support has clearly been huge for you, right? It's been having that sort of strong family support and encouragement has been huge. And then having the competition, good club with Brunswick in Australia and good junior competition in Australia has been so important and helped with that success as well. All these little things are so key for the development of athletes, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. Totally.
Yeah, totally. Well, look, thank you so much for taking the time to sit and chat with us. We really hope you manage to get back racing in the next couple of months, and we'd love to get you back on and maybe have a chat to see how things are going towards the end of this year and then back into next year. We'd love to follow your progress and wish you all the very best with all the racing to come. We're sure that you're going to continue to attack and break away, and you seem to have a lot of determination, so we look forward to you lighting up races over the next few years and following you on that journey.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm super keen to get back to racing and hopefully, show the best of my cycling abilities in the world stage. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was awesome to be part of this.
Oh, it's great. It's great to hear your story. I hope it's an inspiring one and I'm sure people enjoy it. So thanks so much for taking the time and we'll catch up very soon, yeah?
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully I'll see you soon around.
We'll see you when you get back to Europe.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Catalina. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to the podcast. And more importantly, don't forget to download the Unfound app and join cyclists from around the world on the hub. We'll see you on there.